Good morning, good morning. Broke my tradition yesterday and I did not get a video done. It's just one of those days where time got away from me and things were kind of chaotic, so I'll just do a little current events update, I guess, this morning. What have we seen? We've seen largest ever job creation, monthly cap in job creation. Over 950,000. You want blue what? DVD? Okay. Gotta swap out a DVD. Priorities, right? So yeah, we saw those gains. Saw gold dip down, touch 1261, and then about as fast as that happened, you saw the North Korea claim ballistic test fire of missile that can reach the West Coast, nuclear capable missile that can reach the West Coast. So gold gained back, stock started diving again, and who knows? Who knows if they have that capability or not? Basically, if there's some kind of proxy going on, if somebody wants them to be capable of doing that, they'll have it. I think if they're left up to their own devices and they're not supported in that action, they probably don't have that capability. So, if China wants them to be able to have that legitimate threat, they're going to give them something. Same with Pakistan or Russia or even the United States. If we got to make like a false war scenario occur, otherwise they probably don't. They probably don't have the capabilities of having high-tech nuclear device with that kind of range. So I don't know what can you believe anymore and what can't you? It's none of us are in the war room. None of us have inspection reports of facilities and things like that. So you kind of just take everything with a grain of salt and say, well, maybe not. I still doubt the West Coast. I mean, that's a long nuclear flight, right? And that's going to be picked up going over Hawaii, by their radar systems. And it's a lot of, if they really want to do something, they're going to be better off, launching over at Japan or at South Korea, because the interception rate there is probably, it's going to make it a lot more difficult for a ballistic missile to be shot out of the sky if it's got such a short flight trajectory opposed to something that's got to come all the way over here. But I'm not an expert on that. I don't know. I've listened to people say that they've got H-bomb, that A-bomb technology, but not H-bomb. So basically they've got the technology kind of like what we dropped on Japan during World War II, but they don't have the new age nuclear technology that most nuclear powers deploy today. So, again, what do we know? All we can know is what information we're allowed to see. I certainly don't think that anything like a nuclear launch from North Korea is a threat that needs to be paid much attention to. I think it's much more of a threat for somebody to do like a dirty nuclear bomb that gets brought into a port, or for there to be a regional war where issues occur with South Korea or Japan, and that war starts over there, and then maybe eventually, if it turns into a large scale World War III scenario, then we got to start worrying over here. But I'm certainly not concerned with it. On the crypto front, got Cliff High's latest crypto report last night. Read through that. He's progressed nicely in how he presents the data. I like the way this last one was. He speaks in a very technical language, but at the same time, enjoyed the layout. And I'm not going to say anything about what any of it said, obviously, because I don't have permission to do that. And you need to go buy the report. It's worth the money. So, but it's a good buy. I'm getting ready to put some money into the crypto some more. So it was nice to kind of get a rough idea of when I need to be moving and what to expect, things like that. So if you're into the cryptos, go out there, send Cliff some Bitcoin, send him some Litecoin, send him some Ethereum. and get your crypto, or get your crypto report. So yeah, it's awesome. It's fantastic. Any work done by Cliff is always appreciated, and obviously his work is highly respected, and most of it just blows me away. Obviously it's not even close to 100%, even though the crypto, opposed to the Alta, the cryptos have been pretty astounding. So there's no real reason. I doubted it. I didn't doubt it, but I had when he first started doing the reports or just talking about them a little before this time last year. So he was giving numbers out in the Alta reports. That's how it started. And early in mid 2016, and I was like, we'll see what kind of. And then all of a sudden, the numbers he's given, the price action, around the numbers is almost exact. And once I saw a couple cycles of that, I was like, God, I was probably a cycle or two too late to get, not too late, but later getting in than I would have liked. Definitely cost me a few grand, if not more. So I bought, this is two reports I bought so far, and yeah, they're awesome to have. They're definitely useful. Just as good as any other technical analysis you're going to find out there, that's for sure. But these are also a little more for long-term holding. You're people who want to move in and out of positions on like a daily basis. Gosh, at that point, I guess you can only look at short-term technicals in that situation. Some people have a knack for it. Some people are super good at it. They can move in and out of positions and take gains, and they're very disciplined, and they trade non-emotionally, which is very hard for many people. Many people's emotions start playing a significant role when they're trying to trade like that, and that tends to not lead to the best results. Emotional trading is not a good thing. What else is out there? What else is new? Continued developments with the Las Vegas. The longer things go on, more convoluted and screwy everything seems to get with that. So I'm not going to go into that. I don't know. Again, like I said before, I don't know if I'm even going to touch it with a 10-foot pole, because it's, let's just say it is not what they say it is, and that's coming clear from the police scanners, audio, all different kinds of stuff, eyewitness reports that were in there, all different kinds of stuff. So, well, we're gonna wait and see on that one. Weird little ominous phrase from Mr. Trump last night, talking about the calm before the storm in a room full of reporters, and that's basically how I felt now for a month or two. I feel like things are getting ready to ratchet up in some way, shape, or form. Certainly expecting a ratcheting up of the cryptocurrencies as China comes out of this they have like their 5-year meeting. I believe it's next week, where they, basically set the direction of their country for the next 5 years. So extraordinarily important, especially as far as de-dollarization and the cryptos are concerned. They're consolidating and regulating. They're not getting rid of cryptos in any way, shape, or form. So again, don't let the fear and nonsense and propaganda put out there deter you from getting on the train now, because it looks like over the next 12 months we're going to have quite an adoption phase, a build-out phase, adoption phase that's going to be happening with all different kinds of tokens and cryptocurrencies. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of stuff happens here after those meetings. But yeah, we got stuff like with that. You've got obviously, the powder keg with North Korea. Who knows what that might lead to. It seems like, obviously, if history is going to be any kind of reference for us, anytime we get into really sketchy economic waters, war tends to be the way to go for all these people. And honestly, I think it might be a war where we can't win in terms of, the geopolitical playing field. Obviously, we can destroy North Korea. That's, it's without saying. But, what kind of stance is Russia and China going to take when it comes to that? Because that's a whole different ballgame. And we've had the currency wars going on with these guys now for a good 5 to 10, at least since '09. That it's just depending on how hot. We certainly don't want to get hot with Russia and China. That's not good for anybody. And I know there's weapons now, the tactical nukes and the laser weapons, and the pulsating EMPs, which are like tactical EMPs. So you could certainly have a skirmish, but nuclear power skirmishing is also not the best way to go. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I don't think anybody does, but we've got a few. We've got some stuff coming up, and we're not in good shape. We've got everything seems to be failing. The pension systems are failing, and obviously the debt compiling the way it is. All the banks being incestually interconnected in a form that now that our economy is contracting, and they want to jack up interest rates. You're just kind of at this. We're starting to hit the wall in this recovery phase, and I don't think any kind of contraction whatsoever on an economic basis. I don't think anything in the system can handle it. That's why that's why we continue to print money and monetize our own debt at such a rapid pace, because we can't allow this thing to shrink. We can't allow deflation to occur. Can't allow contractions in GDP, even though those are just numbers that people lie about. I'm not sure. At some point, I guess, at some point, I guess it matters, but the numbers are such lies now. Who knows what the actual GDP numbers are? But you're starting to see some rollover in real estate. You obviously have the student loan issue. You've got the car, auto subprime issues starting to arise. And we had the 2 hurricanes. Looks like we've got Hurricane Nate coming, going to be hitting Texas. Is what they're saying right now. We'll see where it actually ends up. But that area is still big time recovery mode right now. So gosh, who knows what another hurricane will do, and who knows how rough of one it'll be. Whether it sits and dumps a bunch of rain, or whether it just kind of blows through as a category 1 or 2, maybe not too bad. A lot of questions up in the air with Hurricane Nate. So all in all, man, it's just things tend to heat up in October, heading into November, and then we'll have a little lull. Let's see what over that Christmas break time, things tend to be pretty quiet in there, right? Nobody's engaging in business. Everybody takes off in Washington, and it kind of always is a little pause period there from about December 18th through January 3rd or so. Probably won't expect much, but I think we'll have some pretty substantial news happening between now and Christmas break. So get ready for anything. I think we could be in some kind of hot war over North Korea by then. We could be seeing some pretty crazy stuff in the financial world by then, or not, or neither. Maybe everything gets pushed and dealt with in the new year. If we knew the timing, we would be excellent at being prepared, and we'd all be millionaires. So we'll just have to wait and see, but keep our eyes on it and make sure we're prepared for whatever we need to be prepared for. And at this point, not too much would surprise me. I think we've got a chaotic period coming up, and whether you're a Trump fan or not, he's definitely a pot stirrer. So we'll see, what kind of buttons he pushes, and if this whole regime change is real, if they're trying to get the deep state out of here, the negative side of the deep state, the Bush-Clinton cartels that are buried so deeply in the government in different branches. If the generals are really working towards weeding them out or not. I think how much real information we get out of this Las Vegas thing will tell us a lot. So far, the sheriffs have jurisdiction, from what I can tell so far, which is very good. You want to keep that with the local PD. They're going to much likely to find out answers than if it was labeled a terrorist act or something and the feds took over, because in that case everything would be buried and we wouldn't know anything. So we still might not end up knowing anything, but time will tell, right? So I guess that's it for this morning. Try to do like a more targeted video today. I'm just heading back from the chiropractor, so I'm gonna do like maybe a nice 10-minute video that's got one specific subject. That subject yet to be determined. Thanks, guys. Bye.